Om Rudram Pashupatim Sthanam Neelakanta Mumapatim Namami Shirsa Devam Kimno Mrutyo Karishyati. Today we'll see the next part of Shatharudra Samhita. Shiva's incarnation as Yaginath. There used to live a Beel named Ahuk of the Arbudachal mountain. His wife was Ahuka. Both of them were supreme devotees of Lord Shiva. Once Lord Shiva, wanting to test their devotion, appeared before them disguised as a hermit. Ahuk honored his guest and treated him very well. Lord Shiva then requested him to give shelter for the whole night. Ahuk expressed his inability as he had a very small hut in which only two people could be accommodated at a time. But his wife intervened and requested Ahuk to sleep outside the hut with his arms, as it would be inappropriate on their part to miss this chance of proving their hospitality. The hermit, who in reality was Lord Shiva, slept with Ahuk's wife inside the hut, while Ahuk himself slept outside the hut. Unfortunately, Ahuk was killed by a wild animal while he was asleep. In the morning, when Lord Shiva found that Ahuk had died, his heart was filled with grief. But Ahuka consoled him by saying that she was proud of her husband as he had given up his life for a noble cause. Naturally, she was very much saddened by her husband's death, so she decided to give up her life by jumping into the burning pyre. Right then, Lord Shiva appeared in his real form and blessed her by saying, in his next birth, your husband would take birth in a royal family. He would become famous as Nala, and you would be born as Damayanti to King Bhima of Vidarbha. I would myself appear in the form of a swan and help both of you to unite. After enjoying all the pleasures of this world, both of you would attain my abode. After saying thus, Lord Shiva established himself as immovable Shivalinga, which later on became famous as Achaleshwara Linga. Shiva's incarnation as Krishna Darshan. King Nabag was born in the 9th genealogy of Shraddha Deva, who himself was a descendant of Ikshvaku. Nabag was the grandfather of Ambarish. During his childhood, Nabag left his home for Gurukula to get education. In his absence, his brothers got the wealth of the kingdom distributed among themselves. When Nabag returned home after the completion of his education, he demanded his share of wealth from his brothers. His brothers told him that they had forgotten to fix his share as he was absent at the time when wealth was being distributed. They advised him to go and meet their father. Nabag went to his father and made the same request. His father advised him to go to sage Angiras, who was trying to accomplish a yajna, but was not being able to accomplish it because of his attachment. Go and try to eliminate his attachment by your discourses. This way, sage Angiras, on being pleased with you, would give all the wealth which remains after the completion of the yajna, said his father. Nabag did the same. He went to the place where sage Angiras was performing his yajna. He preached sage Angiras on the virtues of religiousness. As a result, he became free from all sorts of attachments and the yajna was successfully accomplished. Sage Angiras was very pleased by Nabag's knowledge of religion. He gave all the remaining wealth of the yajna to Nabag. Just then, Lord Shiva arrived there in his incarnation of Krishna Darshan and tried to prevent sage Angiras from donating the wealth to Nabag. Instead, he staked his own claim. Nabag told Lord Shiva that since the wealth was given to him by sage Angiras himself, it naturally belonged to him. Lord Shiva then sent Nabag to his father Shraddhadev to know about his opinion. Nabag went to Shraddhadev, who revealed to him that the person who was staking his claims on the wealth was none other than Lord Shiva. He also told him that whatever remained after the accomplishment of the yajna belongs to Lord Shiva only. Nabag was now satisfied. He went back to Lord Shiva and narrated everything what his father had said. He then eulogized and worshipped Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva blessed him, which helped Nabag to attain salvation. Lord Shiva appears as a beggar. There was a king named Satyarath who ruled over Vidarbha. Once he was attacked by a neighboring king. Satyarath was killed in that battle. His wife somehow managed to save her life by hiding in a forest. The queen was pregnant at that time. At the shore of a pond, she gave birth to a child. She was feeling thirsty, so she went into the pond to quench her thirst. Unfortunately, she was killed by a crocodile who used to live in that pond. The hungry child started crying. A beggar woman arrived there with her 1 year old child. Though her heart was filled with compassion seeing the hungry child cry, but still she was hesitating to take him in her lap. Right then, Lord Shiva appeared as a beggar and advised her to bring up the orphan child. The beggar woman asked about the origin of the child. Lord Shiva told her that the father of this child, Satyarath, in his previous life, had left the Pradosha Vrata incomplete. He had also ordered his men to sever the head of his enemy. After this, he had broken his fast in his impure state without taking a bath. As a result, Satyarath met a premature death in his next life. The mother of this orphan child too committed a sin by deceitfully getting the co wife of her husband killed. As a result, she was devoured by a crocodile in her next life. Describing about the child, Lord Shiva said this child was Brahmin by birth in his previous life, but still he never engaged himself in any religious or virtuous deeds. So, in his next life, though he was born in a royal family, still he remained poor. You must take this child under your control, and after his sacred thread ceremony gets accomplished, you must engage him in Shiva's devotion. If you don't obey the command, then it would not be good for the welfare of her own child. After saying like this, Lord Shiva disappeared. The beggar woman took the child to her house and brought him up with great love and care. When he grew up, his sacred thread ceremony was performed and then he was initiated into the worship of Lord Shiva. By the blessing of Lord Shiva, Satyarath's son formed a pot full of gold while he was taking a bath in a pond. Now the beggar family became very rich. Once again, when he had gone to the forest, he met a Gandharva princess to whom he ultimately got married. This way, he became a king and lived happily with his mother and his brother. Lord Shiva appears in the guise of Indra or Sureshwara. Upamanyu, the son of sage Vyagrapad, was brought up in his maternal uncle's home since his childhood. One day, Upamanyu was very hungry. His mother gave him milk to drink, which was not enough to satisfy his hunger. He demanded more and started crying. His mother mixed some wheat flour in the water and gave him to drink as there was no milk left in this house. Upamanyu, finding the taste different, told his mother that it was not milk but something else. He again started crying. His mother told him that he wanted milk, then he should worship Lord Shiva as he only was capable of making the milk available. Upamanyu proceeded towards the Himalaya and started doing penance to please Lord Shiva, continuously chanting the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. His penance generated so much of heat that all the three worlds started burning. To test his devotion, Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati appeared before him disguised as Indra and Indrani respectively. Both of them told Upamanyu to stop doing penance. They said, "We Indra and Indrani are extremely pleased by your devotion. Stop worshipping Shiva, we will fulfill all your desires." Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati did not stop at this. They even cursed Shiva. Upamanyu became very furious and got up to attack the abuser Indra. Shiva and Parvati were satisfied by his total dedication and devotion. They revealed their real identity and blessed him. Shiva promised Upamanyu that he would be present in the vicinity of his hermitage along with Parvati forever. Upamanyu returned back to his home and narrated the whole story to his mother, who was very pleased. Lord Shiva got the name Sureshwar because he appeared in the guise of Indra. In the next episode, we will see the remaining part of Shatharudra Samhita. Om Namah Shivaya.